are you enjoying these finals thus far? You have a team from Canada in the NBA Finals. Put that in perspective of what it means to the NBA.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, and I think symbolically, in terms of this league being global, the fact that the finals are outside of the United States for the first time means a lot to this league, and I think it's representative of the fact that we have a league now that's made up of players, that 25% of the players from outside the United States.
Right.
I think it's special being here, frankly. I mean, you and I were just talking about it. The last finals that will ever be in this building, obviously, as the team moves on to San Francisco. So this feels special. It's a special environment. You know, we have media from around the world here. These games are being telecast in 215 countries, so it's really a global event. You can feel the big stage environment here.
Considering the global iconic brand that the NBA is and has become a long time ago, as far as I'm concerned, what does having a team from Canada in the NBA Finals do to add to that? It's so big, it almost seems like there's not much that can be added to it because the NBA is so great globally.
Well, I mean, of course, we could end up going to other countries besides the United States and Canada. I think it demonstrates, I mean, you and I were actively involved in the NBA when we expanded to Canada, and look back to 1995 when we expanded to think that now we have 13 players in the league from Canada. The fact that 1 out of 3 Canadians have watched part of the finals so far. Think about that. 1 out of 3 people in the country. The fact that on a grassroots basis, kids, boys and girls are playing basketball. So that's an indication for the league of what kind of impact we can have when we plant an actual flag in a market. So I'm not about to announce that we're putting additional teams overseas, but technology changes, transportation changes, and if we're truly going to be a global league, over time, it's inevitable that we'll expand to other places.
Just a quick question as an aside. Do you foresee expansion in the United States in terms of another NBA team from the States?
I don't foresee it at the moment. I mean, there's a bunch of great markets out there that we're not in right now, and it's something that comes up all the time. I'd say, you know, I've said this before, we're so focused on having 30 competitive teams in this league right now that that's where all our concentration is. But at some point, we'll be looking at it.
Adam Silver, I want to get back to the Toronto Raptors for a quick second because I think about a superstar like Kawhi Leonard, and there is no question. He is a superstar. But he's one of those quiet superstars. I understand how big the NBA is and what have you, but you know what? He's like a miniature Tim Duncan. Very, very little to say. Just goes out there, grabs his lunch pail, goes to work, does a fantastic job, goes home. Do you like to see that in stars? Because, I mean, again, the players promote with their play, but still in all, their mouths do help sometimes.
Absolutely. I mean, I love when guys are authentic.
Right.
And just like Tim was authentically himself, so is Kawhi.
Right.
I mean, and when, you know, and I think we all know, we around the league, fans know, when it seems phony, frankly, when a guy comes out and is promoting something that is just frankly not real or and is inauthentic. I think with Kawhi, as you get to know him, that's exactly who he is. And I think that's why he's such an incredibly popular player. That's why they love him in Canada. That's why they love him around the league.
Do these finals miss LeBron James? Because he did go to 8 straight. He's one of the greatest players in the world, universally recognized as that statesman for the game, ambassador for the game of basketball. Do these finals miss him?
I don't think they miss him, but I will say when you have a player at his level who's in the category of one of the greatest ever, who's been in 8 finals in a row, he's an enormous presence in this league. The great thing about LeBron is it's not like he retired. I mean, you know, he's still essentially in his prime. He had an injury last year. It was a new situation, and I'm sure he'll be back incredibly competitive next season. So, I mean, his presence, I mean, we see it. You and I both know a little bit in the ratings. When you have a star as big as LeBron who's sort of absenced himself and is no longer playing, that there's a casual fan, a sports fan, maybe not an NBA fan, who might tune in for a player like LeBron. But look how strong this league is. Look at the number of young stars we have. And I think we owe to LeBron, I think he carried the league for a period of time. He's brought up a whole next generation of stars. And we see now that this league is bigger than any one player or certainly any team.
Adam Silver, one of the things I wanted to transition to, and I thought it was appropriate to ask you this question because few are better to answer this than you. Draymond Green made news recently because he brought up the word owner and felt like it had a negative connotation attached to it. Owners like Mark Cuban certainly didn't have, they had a problem with that kind of take on the matter. Where do you stand on that? How did you feel about what Draymond Green had to say about having a problem with the word owner?
I, of course, respect his point of view. If that's how he feels and that's how other players feel, I think we have to be responsive. As you know, in our league, you know, it's the difficulty, it's hard not to say the word owner either in the sentence because people say, who are you referring to? What I was about to say is, in our league, the formal name for our team owners is the governor. and then we have alternate governors, so that we don't technically use the name owner. The problem is it's such a popular term in terms of culture and the media that it will take a while to transition out of that name. But if there is if people are sensitive, if players are sensitive about it, we should be looking for another title for the position. I know that in some team principals call themselves the chairman. You know, we have the word governor. Some are the CEO of the organizations. Right. So, terminology we see in that words come to have different meanings and different connotations. So I don't think we're locked in stone, certainly, to that label for the person who owns the team. But it's even saying the sentence makes it hard to not use that word.